So that is a big plus. You do have people with knowledge to be able to go out and you can work together. You have the support of your elected officials, which is always a big plus. Just having them come to the exercise is wonderful. They care, they want to be here, they want to help, do what they can to help you. The school, I thought the school had good protocols and plans in place. And I'm sure that if something did come up with a custodial type parent, that they would be able to handle it. It's just something to think about that they may want to write into their protocols. The other thing is the auditors here, commissioners, and in this particular case, because it seems like it's a criminal incident, and you know, we don't know, the truck driver could have been killed, you know, there's no money, and so the commissioners and the auditors can work together because they have the authority to pull money from any budget within the county they need to deal with this emergency. So they do have access to funds. I mean, if the sheriff's got money and they need it, they can pull it. But he may not like that, but if you need, if it's more important, you know, you do have a mechanism in place, and that comes in under your county EMA ordinance, that you have that authority. I think your health environmentalist, I think he had good knowledge and has some good questions, some good points. I think your hospital seemed that they knew. We've all kind of went down this road before, discussed it, to know how to do that. But, you know, you always have to be prepared for that one that slips in. And Troy, as Troy well knows and has lived it, and we've all lived it together, knows that when we have something that all the district will come and assist him, and he can pull ambulance out of his hat if he needs to, can't you, Troy? And if Troy needs to go down and work the scene, and he needs to have someone to manage staging for all those neighboring ambulances come in, he knows he's got people to do it, that he can call on to do it, because we did it in the tornado, didn't we, Troy?
We did.
And so we know, that again, that goes back to that small community, neighbor helping neighbor. The only things that I would suggest, and they're very, very minor things, number one, and I talked to Scott about that, is binoculars. 1 year back when we were doing grants, I bought binoculars for at least 1 or 2 pair for every fire department to have on their truck. That's a very small expense, and could save a life. A $25, $30 investment could save someone's life. I would recommend it for EMS too. Troy, do you have binoculars on your ambulances?
Well, we've got sets, not for every squad, but we do have those sets.
And so I would recommend that you have binoculars, because even though you can't get close, there is a certain amount of assessment, of patient assessment, that you could already be triaging in your mind by looking at that and kind of knowing, are you going to need additional air ambulances? Are you going to need additional medics? You know, what type of injuries, you know, if it's frostbite, if it's burns, do we need to send them to a burn center? You know, I just think that would be that much more as far as patient assessment that you might be able to do if you can get good visual. The other thing we talked about, Scott's monitors, I talked to Tom as well. Tom thought his monitors would test ammonia. Scott said he's gonna go back, and they're gonna see what all their gas monitors, what they will check and be able to read. So that's good. They're gonna be looking at that and do some additional, find out, and they need to pick up something down the road. The other thing I didn't see was, I never did heard the word IDIM mentioned as far as dispatch, fire, anybody contact an IDIM. That's one of my first calls, and that and the state fire marshal to come down. If nothing else, that you can talk to them on the phone. I've had IDIM, I talked to them this week, and I had IDIM down 2 weeks ago. We had a gas station with a big bunch of leaks, and so we're on a very, very, me and Greg Carter on a first name basis. Those people, though, are your subject matter experts. Because one of the things that, you know, this one we thought it might have been anhydrous ammonia. And if your meter read that, but what if you didn't know what the chemical was and you had no way of reading it, there's no placard because it's illegal, then that's where your state fire marshals Your hazmat response has all kinds of monitoring and testing equipment on their vehicles that they could help go in and get a sampling so you know what you're dealing with. And so that's just something to remember if you ever getting yourself in a situation where it's a chemical that's not properly identified. And the world we have now, we don't know what we're gonna get into. Especially this day and age, we have so much traffic too, transporting traffic. You might get into something you're not used to dealing with. You know, a chemical, somebody got lost and made a wrong turn, or 65 shut down and they try to cut through the country and they get off on a side road and there you are, now you have to deal with it. So those were very, very minor things, just some thoughts to do, and I thought you guys did a good job on it. Again, you're discussing it, you're learning, that's why we're here, so thank you for having me here, and I hope I helped you in some form or fashion.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else, guys, want to add for anything positive?